Today on the podcast, we're joined by Anupama, a senior recruiter at Duke University with 17 plus years of experience in HR and recruitment. With a postgraduate diploma in human resources management, she's worked across India and the US, supporting roles in clinical research, academics, and IT. Known for connecting top talent with the right roles, she brings deep insight into hiring and workplace culture. Let's welcome Anupama to the show.
Welcome back to another episode with Career Kickstart Conversations. Today, I'm joined by a really great guest, Anupama, and I'll pass it over for a quick introduction, and then we'll jump right into it.
Sure. Thank you for having me today. My name is Anupama. I'm working as a senior recruiter at Duke University. I have my MBA and post-graduation diploma in human resource management, and I have around 17 years of experience in recruitment and HR field. I started my career in India. I worked there for a couple of years in recruitments and HR. After moving to US, I started working for a clinical research consulting companies where I used to recruit for pharmaceutical companies nationwide. Since 2017, I have been working with Duke University. Here, I'm supporting several departments, including clinical research, academics, and IT. Over the years, I have gained experience building strong relationship with the hiring managers and hiring right talent for the right position and also understanding the company culture. I'm really excited to be here to share my learning.
Awesome. Well, we'll just kind of jump into it. So today's topic, we're talking about why some companies hire fast and others hire slower. So just jump in. From your perspective, what do you think typically causes a company to have a slow hiring process?
Right. Some companies are extra careful in making the decision, especially for hard to fill and executive level position. There will be multiple people involved in making the decision, and also multiple rounds of interview will be scheduled, detailed referral check, and also background verification. Coordinating their schedule is really, takes a lot of time. And also it could be because of delay in budget approval and also internal reorganization, or if there is a leadership change, they may review and revise the hiring process. Also, if they don't have structured intake and service level agreement process, hiring manager and recruiter, they cannot come up with the timeline to fill the position. If they don't have the anticipated start date in mind, they can't block the manager's calendar ahead of time. There will be a lot of delay in the interview process and also communication gap.
Yeah, absolutely. I think candidates experience that a lot. What would you say is like a tip you might have for a candidate if it is a long process on how to stay positive or maybe to set expectations ahead of time for themselves?
I had interviewed a candidate who was really interested in the position. She also had other interviews scheduled in process. Instead of being very pushy, she just said, "I'm really interested in this position. I would like to know your timeline, in order to make the best decision." After knowing this, I spoke to the hiring manager and we pushed our interview process. At the end, we hired that candidate successfully.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's important for candidates. You definitely can ahead of time, say to your recruiter, like, hey, like, what are the expectations? And also tell them where you're at in other interviews, if you're interviewing with other companies, to really set expectations of what you're looking for a timeline as well and see if it matches up. Awesome.
Right. I also have another example for the same thing. So after accepting the offer for project manager position, this candidate, sent me an email saying his relocation is taking more time than expected, and he wanted to work from home initial 2 weeks. So hiring manager agreed to this agreement and we allowed that candidate to work from home for initial 2 weeks so that, we didn't have to push his start date, and we started the project on time. So don't hesitate to, let your manager or recruiter know. Clear communication, makes things easier for everyone.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, definitely don't shy away from it at all. Awesome. Okay. And how do you feel like internal bureaucracy or like a layered approval impacts the hiring timeline?
Sure. If there are, too many people involved in the decision making, the process get delays. So it's hard to coordinate their schedule. And also, each one of them has their own opinion. For example, hiring manager wants the technical skills, HR wants the culture fit, VP wants the budget consideration. Good candidates, they don't wait, they accept another offer and move forward.
Yeah, they do. And again, that's why I think as a candidate, it's really important to just see like what is the full interview process. Like don't shy away from asking what it is. And you also can ask, do you know, what the expectations that specific hiring manager is going to have for each different round.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. And I'll kind of jump over to the side now of like why companies hire fast. What do you feel like allows some companies to hire really fast?
Sure.
Or move quickly.
Some companies hire fast because they have structured intake and service level agreement in place. During this intake meetings, hiring manager and recruiters, they go through the job description, preferred skill set, technical skill set, if they're looking for any certification. And also they go through the timelines, when to review the resume, when to do the phone screening, in-person interviews, referral check, background verification, and also onboarding. When you have the anticipated hire date in mind, recruiters can, block interview panel calendar ahead of time so that, there won't be any delay in scheduling the interview. Also, service level agreement, plays a major role. They will go through the roles and responsibilities, who is, doing what, so that there won't be any confusion throughout the hiring process. And also, clear communication is really important. Yeah. That is one thing. And also, because of market competition, especially for IT positions, candidates will have multiple offers in hand. So if they don't move forward quickly, they end up, losing good candidates. And then if there is a, project deadline, or if they want to replace somebody to meet the project deadline at that point of time, they'll move the process quickly. And also having a workforce planning meeting is really important so that recruiters will know ahead of time what is coming next, so that they can keep the good pipeline of candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you feel like hiring fast is always better, or are there risks to hiring too fast?
Hiring too fast is not good, and hiring too slow is bad.
Yeah.
There should be a balance in between. So when you hire too fast, you may end up, making poor decision and a bad hire. When you hire, too slow, you may end up losing good candidates. So we have to be, very careful in making the decision, keeping long-term goals in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think you can definitely, when you're hiring too fast, you can definitely miss a lot. Like one on the company side, like you said, like maybe skipping reference checks or background checks, or even seeing if like the technical skills are there. And then also on the candidate side, sometimes they can feel like maybe this company's being a little too pushy or desperate to fill a chair and don't really feel like valued in it. So it is hard, I think, for a lot of companies to find that perfect balance.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And have you ever worked with an organization that struck the perfect balance?
Yes, I have worked in this situation many times. So communication is the key. We have to give the timely feedback to the candidate, and also we have to stay organized. So as I said earlier, intake and SLA process plays a main role in the interview process. So we have to have a deadline to close the position. We have to, book manager's calendar ahead of time so that, we can keep things organized.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then from a candidate side, like kind of what they should expect, what are some signs or tips for job seekers they can look for or do early on in the process to kind of guess or figure out how fast a company is going to move?
Sure. Usually, during the first round of interview, initial round of interview, hiring manager or recruiter will let the candidate know, what is the next step in the process, when are they planning to fill the position. If you don't hear, it's okay for the candidate to ask this detail. So, what is the next step? When are you planning to, fill this position? If you still don't hear anything from them, I think, it's going to take some time because they don't have the anticipated timeline in mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how do you feel like a candidate should respond when a process is dragging on with little communication?
Sure. When the process is dragging, if there is no communication, it's okay to do the follow up politely by sending an email saying, "I wanted to follow up and I wanted to know status on my job application. If you have any feedback or if you need any other details from my end." By doing this, it shows the candidate is really interested in the position. If you still don't hear from the manager after a couple of follow-up emails, I think you should move forward and apply for other opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people experience that. And like you said, communication is absolutely key for this, especially when it is a longer process. And it kind of going back to what you said about losing talent, because a company, Lever, they had put out that 34% of candidates will drop out of the hiring process just due to too many interview rounds or slow decision making or the poor communication. So essentially 1 in 3 people will walk away before you even have the chance to offer. So yeah, again, communication is key for everyone all around, and don't be scared to ask, what are expectations or follow up, like you said.
Right.
And what would you recommend for candidates who are juggling multiple job offers or they're in completely different stages? Maybe they have a really exciting opportunity, but it's a first round that's going to be taking a while. And then they're also having another opportunity that moved really fast 2 weeks in and they're about to get an offer tomorrow. Like how to juggle that and have those conversations.
Sure. If you have multiple offers in hand with different deadline, you have to ask yourself what work best for you, what interests you most. It's not always about the money or size of the company. It's always about the role, the company culture, and also work-life balance. It's always good if you accept the offer within the deadline, whether you accept or reject, so that you can maintain good relationship with the company for the future open positions.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of companies typically will have a deadline of sometimes 24, 48 hours. I mean, some are longer, will give you more time depending on how fast the need is. But I would, agree with that. Like, definitely be respectful of that deadline and make sure you ask, like, when do you have to know by? And if you can't meet that, if they can extend it, and definitely share, why you need the extension. But it's also, I think, also important for the entire interview process to be transparent about where you are in the interview process, with other companies. So you're not surprising the recruiter or hiring manager at the end of, wait a minute, but I actually have an offer right now. Can we move this process along further? Because most of the time they can't just skip interviews to get to an offer stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely super important. Awesome. Okay. And what are some strategies you would have for candidates to stay confident and proactive during a long process?
Staying positive is the key. A great strategy is to keep applying for the position until you accept an offer. Keep prepping for the interviews. Connect with people on LinkedIn, attend job fair, virtual fair, and keep doing the follow-up with the manager if you don't hear back from them.
Yeah.
So slow process, is because of internal delays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, you can also ask around to people in your network of, what are you seeing kind of in the job market? I think that also kind of affect it on how fast sometimes companies are moving. To try to set expectations. You can also follow up with other people, like, are they also experiencing this as well? especially because, like we said, sometimes moving way too fast is a red flag. So
Yes.
sometimes slow isn't terrible, but expectations are key. Awesome. And then what are some like smart moves when an offer comes fast on how to evaluate it before saying yes or no?
Sure. When offer comes, fast, it's really exciting. But you have to ask yourself: does this role align with my goals? Do I understand the company? Do I understand the role and the department? It's okay to take some time to process it. Also, try to have a chat with your future teammate. But you have to be very careful in making the decision. Don't push yourself to just say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. And I also think I've seen it a few times actually where companies will only have like 1 or 2 interviews and you didn't really even get to meet who you would be reporting into. I think if appropriate, like definitely read the situation, you can also ask to have a follow-up call if you still have questions.
Right. You can ask, details like written offer, more details about the budget, about the role.
Yeah.
So feel free to schedule another call with the hiring manager. That's okay to do that.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they'll see it as a red flag for more follow-up.
No.
I mean, unless it's been like 8 or 10 interviews, then you've had these answered, but it's been fast. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Quick offer is really good. It means, they're really
Excited.
interested
Yeah.
in you. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing your expertise today. And if anyone has any comments, stories, questions, feel free to drop them below.